Okay, good morning class. Group 4, lead us in prayer, please. Who among Minosa, Morales, Obmerga, Jang, Rumabi, and Palmes will lead? Minosa, you'll be the one to lead us in prayer.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Lord, maraming salamat sa mga biyaya na binibigay niyo po sa amin sa araw-araw na ito. Lord, sana po may matutunan po kami ngayon araw na ito sa klase. Sa klase po. Patayin niyo po kami sa mga sala na ginagawa po namin sa araw-araw. At sana po matapos na ang pandemya nito. Yun lamang po sa ngalan ni Jesus. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Okay, so for the information of everybody, so today, this week and last week is the combination of week 1. So it means that your week 1 is extended until this week, because last week supposed to be we will have the completion of all your grades of all your requirements last week, but since we need to extend more, that's why the week 1 is last week and this week. Okay, so therefore, so the lesson for the second week will be on next week. Okay, so but for this time I just want to inform everybody that on the second quarter we will push through with the normal way of SSC classroom. So this first quarter, it's just an adjustment period to all of you. But for next week, so I'm going to activate all the leaders. I'm going to give a record sheet because I failed to give that last first quarter. So every synchronous class, they will be the one to, or they will be responsible for taking the attendance, the recitation, and then all any other matters with regards to our synchronous class. So, and then they will submit it to me. There's possibility that I can open the GC to all the leaders so that the burden will not be focused on Cervantes. But with my instruction, I'm always give that to Cervantes. But when I gathered all the points or the record sheet. So I just want to get in touch with the leaders. And then on starting next week, so since the SSC last year, they are used of having a recitation, Google form type of recitation. So it means that every synchronous class, after the synchronous class, I will give 30 minutes to answer the 10 item test with regards to the lesson for that specific week. So it means that all of you, you can have your chance to have a recitation. Because when I gathered recitation for the synchronous class, sad to say there are so many students who doesn't have any recitation. So for that, so I'm going to give a Google Form 10 item quiz every synchronous class after the class. So I hope that all the students of Galileo will be aware of it. Okay, those are the changes in the second quarter. Supposed to be that could be the normal scenario during the first quarter, but since we are in adjustment period, that's why I cannot push through with that. Okay, so and this morning I'm going to show you the I already show with my 4 classes their grades, the GS or the components of their grades. So the written works and the performance tasks, because I'm just the one computing your grade, but you are the one doing it. You are the one performing. I just gathered all the records and then That could be your grade according to your performance. Okay, so I'm going to present to you the partial because I didn't submit it yet to your advisor. So it's partial because I don't know if there are some clarifications or things with that the student need to comply or something, but I already gave extension. So I gave two extensions for LMS. So I gave so many extensions. And then Cervantes and I has its communication regarding the students who failed to take the quiz 1 or learning task 3.3 and then the chapter test. Okay? So here is your grade. Nobody is allowed to take a picture of this grading sheet because of the data of privacy, but because of this is owned by your teacher. So do not screenshot and do not take picture because you will be liable in doing that and sharing that. And of course, I'm always saying this is unofficial and this is just partial. Okay? So there are cases that the SSC students failed to reach 87 as their baseline or the lowest grade. So let us see. Sad to say there are so many students, but if there's a case that the student is line of 7 or just 85 below, I'm going to discuss it with your advisor. Maybe I will leave it blank. And I will show you why you have that kind of grade. Okay. So let us present this. Okay. So let's have it first. Okay. Under the written work, so we have first column and second column. First column is your equivalent transmuted grade of your LMS. And then the second column is the transmuted grade for your quiz number 1 or learning task 3.3. And on the performance task, we have three columns. The first column representing your chapter test, and the second column representing your recitation, and the third column representing your attendance. Okay? And then that is 50-50%. Okay? Let's start with the boys. Okay. So as you can see, that is column 1 and 2. So this is your LMS. And then this is your quiz number 1. For those who has 60, it means they don't have any quiz number 1. Just like Obmerga, Obmerga, and then sa girls naman ay wala. Mukhang okay naman sa girls. Okay? So those were the uh, LMS and then the quiz number 1. Let's proceed to our quiz performance tasks. So these are the written words. So let's proceed to our performance tasks. Okay, the first column is your chapter test, and the second column is your recitation, and the third column is your attendance and your participation. Okay, as you can see in the chapter test, so Mendoza failed to take the chapter test and Obmerga again. And then for the girls, all the girls, we have Palmes. So just to confirm it's Cervantes later, so that we can still have the adjustment if they submitted or they answered the quiz, the chapter test. So it's Palmes and Obmerga and Mendoza. And then for the recitation, try to look. So it means that your recitation is very limited, right? And then this one, okay, for your This is your attendance. So Cadayona and Alingasa, Mendoza, Obmerga, who else? Ayan. Maybe if you're line up 6, so it means your attendance is just 1 or 2. In Rivera, that's not in attendance. Okay, that's all. And this is your partial grade. Okay, that's your partial grade. So I will just try to communicate with Sir Senya about this matter for those students who has 85 and below. And then sad to say Mendoza, if I'm going to reflect his grade, this could be his grade. But since we will have a schedule for dialogue with the parent of Mendoza, so we will just leave it blank. And also with Obmerga. So Obmerga and Mendoza and Alingasa. And Morales is 89, so you can have your assessment, okay? And then for the girls, okay. So mukhang okay naman sa girls. O isa lang, meron tayo kay Gibara, Jasmine, and then dito kay Palmes. Okay. Cervantes, any reaction? Cervantes, meron ba dyan na nabanggit si Sir na walang quiz pero may quiz? Or
Wala
di,
naman po.
may nag-reach out ba sa'yo sa mga walang quiz? Di ba palagi
Wala
natin
pa
sinasabi? Wala
wala
naman.
pa pong nag-reach out sa'kin about po dun sa mga quiz and chapter test.
Pero alam naman nila yun siguro, no? Di ba nagre-reach out ka naman sa kanila?
Opo,
Palagi ko
sir.
tinatanong baka may gustong mag-test or something.
Opo.
Ang LMS nyo, okay ang LMS nyo eh. Kaya lang meron pa rin hindi nagsagot sa LMS. Ibig sabihin, ang LMS talaga ay, ayan, si, okay, yeah. Okay. So, ito talaga si Obmerga hindi nagsagot. Si Mendoza may ilang piraso. So, yan, magaganda. Okay. So, any reaction? Cervantes, if your classmates, so since I need to give this to your advisor because your advisor will gather all your grades. And then on Saturday, we will have our PTC. PTC or Parent Teacher Conference. And then we will give the soft copy to your parent with regards to your grades for first quarter. Last year, you don't have that, diba? Don't have any soft copy for your grade last year, every quarter. But this school
Meron
year,
naman po, sir.
meron
Yung
din tayo.
ilang subjects po, as in Math and English.
Okay. But not all that you don't have any average. Okay. Maybe I'm just the one in Pascal always having the progress report, progress chart. So every quarter they have their progress chart. They know who is in top, who is 98, who is 99 as their average. So that's why they can assess if they can really get 99, 98 as their average. From first quarter to fourth quarter, they already have that. I always present that during my synchronous class with my advisory. And then for all the subjects, the class that I'm handling, I always give the details for the grade so that the student can assess saan sila nagkulang, saan sila kinapos, meron bang confirmation, meron bang question. So I will give you until this day to clarify things with regards to your grade. So since extension, we have three or two extensions from LMS, and then you already have all the time to take the quiz number 1 and the chapter test. So since Cervantes didn't inform me that there are some students from Galileo who is willing to take the chapter test and the quiz number 1. Okay? So expect that we will have more recitation, Google Form 10 item quiz next week, starting next week. Any clarification, any question, you can have that to Cervantes. Okay, Cervantes, yes. Anything,
Sir,
Cervantes?
may mga nagtatanong po, sir, tungkol po dun sa attendance po. Lagi naman daw po sila nag-a-attendance. Bakit daw po ang nung nung grade po?
Attendance. Teka lang ha, ipakita natin yung detail ng attendance ha. That is your attendance for first quarter. Para, okay, stop ko muna tong sharing. Okay. So, let's have this. Okay. For the attendance for first quarter. Galileo. First quarter attendance, okay. Just wait. Attendance. Galileo. LMS. Let's check quarter 2. Buksan lang natin. Open. Okay, Galileo attendance. I summarize it. Argon. Pascal. Galileo. Nasaan na si Galileo Figaro? Okay. I just want to share it to you for your attendance. Wala yung pinaka-summary. I just have the, okay, so that you have an idea. So, hindi pala siya naka-sort. Okay. So, for the first quarter, supposed to be, you will have 8 attendance, right? Specifically, who asked you question, just inform me with the name so that we can discuss it later and then confirm it later, Cervantes. Who are those students who just want to confirm with their? Okay, so let's just share it. Parang bumagal si Field. You can still hear me, Cervantes. Bumagal ang internet. Ayan.
Yes po, sir. Naririnig naman po.
Okay. I'm sharing the attendance now. But sad to say, it didn't show with your... Try to refresh. Okay, that's it. Ayan na. Select. So what is happening to PLDT? I hope I can still share it. Let's just wait if I can share. I have so many things to share with you this morning. That's why it's very important for this internet to recover. So I just want to check my speed. But for now, if I'm going to, okay, can't share your screen. Why? What's wrong? Okay, according to the attendance, so Abril just have four attendance. Alingasa just one. Albior 2, 4, 6, 7. Arevalo 2, 4, 6. Banogon 2, 4, 6, 7. Barcinilia. Okay. Hindi pa rin nasi-share. You must grant permission in order
Hindi
to...
pa rin po, sir. Nag-share.
Okay. Parang may nag-ano ng ating link. Bakit I need to have to ask permission if I'm the one who did this Google Meet? Why do I need to have ask permission?
Ngi.
According to the statement, okay, you need to ask permission to share your link. May nag-share bang iba? Ayan na. Meron na ba?
Yes po, sir. Pag malapit na.
Ayan. Okay, as you can see. So, it means that is your number of attendance. So, Abril, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. Albior, Arevalo, Banogon, Barcinilia, just 1, 2, 3. Bautista, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cadayona, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Caparanca, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Cervantes, 2, 4, 6, 7. Sidro, 2, 4, 6. So I think it's just 7 kasi meron yung tiyata tayo isang walang klase. Cervantes, tama? Nung first quarter.
Opo, sir.
Okay, so
Meron
7
pong
lang
isang
supposed to be.
walang klase.
Oh, ayan. So De La Rosa, 2, 4, 6. Seisma, 2, 4, 5, 6. Espinosa, 2, 4, 5. Francisco, just 3. Dagasa, 2, 4, 5, 6. Garciano, 2, 4, 6. Goodies, 2, 4, 6, 7. Jang, so Jang 4. Lumabi, 2, 4, 6. Mendoza, isa lang. And then Mendoza, 2, 4, 6. Morales, ayan, Rivera. Rodil, 2, 4, 6. Si Rodil, 6 nga lang eh. Trocino, Tuga, Uy. O ayan, yung mga attendance nyo. Meron bang hindi nabanggit dito na hindi nag-attendance? Meron ano? Meron Cervantes, no? May mga hindi nabanggit, no? Supposed to
Opo,
be.
sir.
Meron ano? So, ibig sabihin sila nag-attendance. But, with your Google Meet, with regards to your Google Meet, so synchronous class, so may record ka nun, Cervantes? Kasi ang nangyari
Ano
sa
po,
aking,
sir?
yung Google Meet attendance nyo, ni-record ba lahat ng leaders? Kasi
Hindi
parang,
ko po alam sa iba, sir. Pero sa akin po meron, sir.
may leaders ba kayo? Nung nag-start tayo, di ba, I posted your group, right? Namili kayo
Opo,
ng
sir.
lead,
Meron po.
namili kayo ng leader, tama? So
Opo, sir.
I shared to you and I inform you what are the responsibilities of the leader, di ba? Parang isa yun sa sinabi ko, you have to gather your attendance every meet. Hindi ko nga lang naibigay yung record sheet, right? So, nevertheless, so wala tayong choice kundi ito lang asynchronous class. Pero if you can recover that, much better. Kaya this second quarter, make it sure that the leader will be activated, ha? Okay?
Opo, sir.
So, any clarification with your grade? So especially those who failed to take the quiz 1 and chapter test. Marami ba? Meron mga nandito na hindi nakapag-test ng ng learning task 3.0 or quiz number 1 and chapter test. Just ask them, Cervantes, if they can up to this afternoon.
Okay po, sir.
Oo, kasi parang if you were on my shoes, so I already delayed or I'm delayed with the submission grade. Last year I submitted on 9, but for now I am late for 2 days. Most of us, because of these circumstances, that it's just very first time that there are so many students. Last year we just have two students, one for every section. One for every section. But this year, I think for every SSC section, there's at least 3 or more, especially with my advisory. They didn't have any. That's why all the teachers are complaining. That's why, so we decided to leave it blank. So if your grade is blank, it means that you failed or your grade is line of 7. But for this, I think we just have Mendoza and the other one, and then the other 85 or something. So I will just wait for Cervantes if there's any student who will get in touch with her if they want to recover with the quiz 1 and the chapter test. Okay, just leave it to Cervantes and then we will just have the communication. Okay, so let's proceed. For this morning, I'm going to show you 2 different types of your final requirement in second quarter, which is what I'm telling you last time, that you have to discuss things with polynomial functions, and you are the one, you have your own style of sharing ideas and discussing things, which is not just discussing. You must input some variation. It's just like that you are doing something in order to share it lightly or share it with some uh, script or anything to the viewer. Okay, so this is an equivalent for 3 learning tasks. So it means when you submit this, so it will fall, I think, in week number 3 or week number 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5. But in that week, if we just have 3 learning tasks, it means you don't need to answer the LMS 3 learning tasks if you submitted this final requirement for polynomial function. And then if I found out with the judgment of the other teachers that you among the section, you're the best presenter of your video presentation, you will be exempted. So it means if I have a chapter test or summative test, you will be exempted on it. So your grade is 100. So I'm going to share it to you. So I just have to share two. So the students, okay, who pass it to me, so it means that they are not perfect. There are some lapses grammatically. There are some lapses. Maybe they just present different type of solutions. But if you think that you can still share, you can still share different type of solution, you can. But make it sure that your audience will understand. So before it's 10 minutes minimum, but now minimum is 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And then you will pass that in Google Classroom. December 29 is the deadline. Okay, is that clear? So let's have the first one. Napakabagal talaga ng internet. Even my camera, I'm having a hard time to open my camera. Cannot open my camera. What's wrong with this? Siguro sa desktop na ni Sir, no? Wala namang slash yung aking camera, pero you cannot see me, no? Nasa kabilang mundo si Sir, oh. Naka-open yung camera sa Google Meet, pero you cannot see me. And then I'm sharing now. According to my desktop, I'm sharing the video now, but it didn't show video with Google Class, Google Meet now. Okay, what is happening? So just maybe we need some intercessors to fix this. So in Jesus' name, because this is very crucial. So how can I share? Okay, so let's just wait and see. Kanina pa to. O yan, you must grant permission in order to screen share. Meron ba nagsishare or meron bang nagbablock? This
Wala
is
naman
just,
po, sir.
this is just the first time o sa internet ko to. Kasi Monday to Wednesday, ilan yung klase ko. So napakabilis. Okay, nagkataon lang. Siguro merong maintenance na naman ang PLDT. Ayan, tab. So kailangan siguro mga ma-share ka naman. I cannot open my camera. I cannot share. So you need to see this in order for you to have an idea what could be your final requirement for the second quarter, because there's one. I'm having hard time of sharing it to the Facebook group. Maybe I should leave the meet again ha, just stay for a while. Nandyan pa ba? Okay. I hope you can see me. Ayan, nakikita na ba si Sir?
Yes po, sir. Finally.
Okay, finally. Ayun. May nakita na kayo? Na nakashare, wala pa.
Meron na po.
Meron na po, sir.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's your boy Fritz and today, welcome to my first vlog! So guys, our agenda for today is all about math. I saw a lot of students on Facebook ranting that math is hard. Why do we have to study math? And why is math invented? So I came here and post this vlog to somehow help the students, especially the grade 10 students, all about polynomial functions. And with that polynomial function, we will discuss first, fundamental theorem of algebra, second, Descartes' rule of sign, and lastly, is all about rational root theorem. Stand by and let's go home! Okay guys, so now we are in our home and we will start discussing our lessons for today. But before that, I want you to listen carefully during the discussion and take some important details about our lessons. So without further ado, let's start our discussions. So for the first discussion for today, I would like to ask you a question. What is a polynomial function?
A polynomial function is an expression consisting of variables and coefficients that involves only the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and non-negative integer exponents of variables. Polynomial functions has also constraint. Its constraint is that an must not be equal to 0 because if you use 0 in an, then you cannot get the answer or the zeros in the given polynomial function. Next is the n must be a non-negative integers. So it means that we can't use negative exponents, radicals, and negative fractions of exponents. That would be all for polynomial function. I hope you understand something.
I hope you understand what is a polynomial function. So now we will proceed for the three topics for today, which is fundamental theorem of algebra, Descartes' rule of sign, and rational root theorem. So the given polynomial function we will use is 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. So guys, let's start first with the first topic for today, which is fundamental theorem of algebra. So what is fundamental theorem of algebra?
Fundamental theorem of algebra states that every non-constant single variable polynomial with complex coefficients has at least one complex root. To add on that, Mr. Charles Friedrich Gauss discovered fundamental theorem of algebra. He discovered it last 1799.
So basically, in fundamental theorem of algebra, it will tell you how many zeros you will have at the end of the solution. So here in our example, we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. In fundamental theorem of algebra, we will focus more on the leading coefficient. So here we have 3x squared. And the exponent of our leading coefficient is squared or 2. So it means that at the end of the solution, we will have 2 zeros. That would be all the fundamental theorem of algebra. Let's now proceed for the second topic for today, which is Descartes' rule of sign. So what is Descartes' rule of science?
Descartes' rule of science was first described by René Descartes last 1637. For him, it is a technique for getting information on the number of positive real roots of a polynomial function.
So basically, in Descartes' rule of sign, you will know how many positive real zeros, negative real zeros, and imaginary zeros you have in a given polynomial function. So here we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. Let's start first with the positive. In Descartes' rule of sign, we will focus more on its signs. So here, it's positive and positive. So it means that there are no change in these two. Next is from positive, it turns to negative. So we can say that there are one change for the positive. Next is for the negative. So we'll just change the negative x for the given polynomial function. So here it is positive and it turns into negative. So we can say that there is one change for the negative. And from negative it turns to negative, so there are no change for these two. We don't have any imaginary zeros for our given polynomial function. So all in all, we only have two zeros for our function. One positive real zero and one negative real zero. That would be all for Descartes' rule of sign, and let's now proceed for the last topic for today, which is rational root theorem. So first, what is rational root theorem?
Rational root theorem states that a constraint on rational solutions of a polynomial equation with integer coefficients and solutions of the equations are also called roots or zeros of the polynomial. To add on that, Mr. René Descartes also discovered rational root theorem in the 17th century.
So in rational root theorem, we will now know what are the zeros or the answer of the given polynomial function, which is 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. In rational root theorem, we will focus more on its constant and the leading coefficient. Our constant would be the p, and the leading coefficient would be our q. So we will find the factors of each number. So in our constant, the factors is positive and negative 1. While for 3, or our leading coefficient, is positive negative 1 and positive negative 3. And what we will do next is to divide p over q, which is constant, over leading coefficient. So we got positive 1, negative 1, positive 1/3, and negative 1/3. These are the possible roots or zeros of our polynomial functions. And for us to know what are the zeros in our polynomial functions, we will now proceed to synthetic division. Let's start first with positive 1. Positive 1 would be our divisor. We'll just bring down 3, then multiply it to our divisor, which is 1. So 3 times 1 is equals to 3. 2 plus 3 is equals to 5. 5 times 1 is equals to 5. Then negative 1 plus positive 5 is equals to 4. As you can see, our remainder did not equate to 0. So that means that positive 1 is not a 0 for our given polynomial function. Let's now proceed with negative 1. So negative 1 would be our divisor, and we'll just multiply 3 to negative 1, so we got negative 3. 2 minus 3 is equals to negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is equals to positive 1. Negative 1 plus positive 1 is equals to 0. And as you can see, our remainder is equals to 0. So that means that negative 1 is a 0 for our polynomial function. We already got the first 0 in the given polynomial function, which is negative 1. Now we will find out which is the other 0 in our function. For us to do that, we are going to need 3 and negative 1. So here we have 3x minus 1. We'll just equate it to 0 for us to find the other 0. 3x minus 1, we will transpose negative 1 to the other side, so it will become 3x equals to positive 1. Divide both sides by 3 for us to get the x. And as you can see,
x is equals to 1/3. That is the other zero in our polynomial function. So all in all, the zeros in our polynomial function is -1 and +1/3 or +1/3. That would be all for rational root theorem, and now we are finished with our discussion. So guys, we are now finished discussing all the topics for today. I hope that you understand something from me. Don't forget to hit that like button right there, comment down below, and hit that
subscribe button.
bye guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Sir?
Talaga nagkakaproblema yung aking ano yan, yung aking camera is patay sindi. Okay, so as you can see, easily we can have that because the given is just quadratic. So even we don't have rational root theorem, we can solve for the value of x, di ba? But it's just presenting and using the rational root theorem or rational zeros theorem. So those are the things that you need to incorporate: the fundamental, the Descartes, and the rational root theorem. Okay, let's have the second one.
Matnik Garces.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kurt Joseph B. Garces. I am 16 years old and I'm currently residing at Dasmariñas City, Cavite. I am also a grade 10 Pascal student from Dasmariñas Integrated High School and my dream is to become a successful civil engineer someday. I also want to be the ultimate housemate.
Do you have all it takes to be the ultimate winner?
I can do all tasks and I can also solve different equations including polynomial functions. Try me.
Okay then, as your ultimate task, I will send you a polynomial function and you need to explain it within 10 minutes. Correct and complex.
I can do that. Let's go.
Fundamental theorem of algebra. Given the polynomial function 6x raised to the power of 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21. Since the highest degree is 4, we should have 4 zeros. Descartes' rule of sign. The one who formulated Descartes' rule of sign was a French-born philosopher, mathematician, and scientist named René Descartes. The first step is to write down the degree. According to the fundamental theorem of algebra, the total number of real roots is equal to the function's degree. The roots could be positive, negative, imaginary, or some combination of these types. So, the polynomial function f(x) is equals to 6x raised to the power of 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21 has 4 solutions. Since the highest degree is 4, then there are 4 solutions to the function. The step 2 is to find the sign changes for f(x). f(x) is equals to 6x raised to the power 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21. Look at the number of times the sign changed from one term to the next. This will reveal the greatest number of positive roots. So, from the polynomial function, the coefficients are 6, 23, 15, negative 23, and negative 21. From 6 to 23, to 23 to 15, to 15 to negative 23, and to negative 23 to negative 21. That is positive to positive, positive to positive, positive to negative, and negative to negative. Since the sign changes one time, that means that the function has at most one positive roots. The positive changes from negative changes are in 15 to negative 23, since the sign of 15 is positive and the sign of 23 is negative. Remember, the function has one positive real roots. Keep subtracting the number of the sign changes by 2 until you reach 1 or 0. But since we already reached 1, we will not going to subtract any of it by 2. Step 3. Find the sign changes for f negative x. Fx is equals to 6x raised to the quantity of 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21. The sign changes for f negative x will give the greatest number of negative roots. Plug in negative x for x. So, f negative x is equals to 6 multiplied to the quantity of negative x raised to the power of 4 plus 23 multiplied by the quantity of negative x cubed plus 15 multiplied to the quantity of negative x squared minus 23 multiplied to the quantity of negative x minus 21. 2. F negative x is equals to 6x raised to the power of 4 minus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus plus 23x minus 21. Shortcut. Just change the sign of the terms with the odd exponents. For example, 23x cubed. The sign of the 23x cubed is positive, but since we are going to plug in negative x, we will just change the sign of 23 to negative. And another example is 6x raised to the quantity of 4. Since even number is 4, then we will not going to change the sign of 6x raised to the power of 4. So the coefficients are 6, negative 23, 15, 23, and negative 21. 6 to negative 23, negative 23 to 15, 15 to 23, and 23 to negative 21. Positive to negative, negative to positive, positive to positive, and positive to negative. So we have 3 changes here. Since the sign changes 3 times, that means that the function has at most 3 negative real roots. 3 minus 2 is 1. Therefore, there are 3 or 1 negative real roots. Remember, the function has 3 or 1 negative real roots. And for the last step, for chart making, fx is equals to 6x raised to the quantity of 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21. From step 1, we know that fx has 4 roots according to the fundamental theorem of algebra. From step 2, we know that fx has 1 positive root. And from step 2, we know that the fx has 3 or 1 negative roots. So for the chart, we have 4 columns, the positive, negative, imaginary, and total. We have 1 positive roots and 3 negative roots. And for the imaginary, since the total roots are 4, we are not going to include imaginary, so 0. Total is 4. And again, 1 positive root, and since there are 3 or 1 negative roots, we are going to plug in 1. And the total is 4, so we must have 2 imaginary. And that's all.
Nice brief explanation. Ready for the next? Impressive. Now, for the last part.
Rational root theorem. Find the rational zeros of 6x raised to 4 plus 23x cubed plus 15x squared minus 23x minus 21. Since all coefficients are integers, we can just apply the rational zeros theorem. The trailing coefficient or the coefficient of the constant term is negative 21. Find its factors. The possible values for p are positive negative 1, positive negative 3, positive negative 7, and positive negative 21. The leading coefficient or the coefficient of the term with the highest degree is 6. Find its factors. The possible values for q are positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, and positive negative 6. Find all the possible values of p over q. Positive negative 1 over 1, positive negative 1 over 2, positive negative 1 over 3, positive negative 1 over 6, positive negative 3 over 1, positive negative 3 over 2, positive negative 3 over 3, positive negative 3 over 6, positive negative 7 over 1, positive negative 7 over 2, positive negative 7 over 3, positive negative 7 over 6, positive negative 21 over 1, positive negative 21 over 2, positive negative 21 over 3, and positive negative 21 over 6. Let us just simplify and remove the duplicates if any. These are the possible rational roots. Positive 1, positive negative negative
1 over 2, positive negative 1 over 3, positive negative 1 over 6, positive 3, positive negative 3 over 2, positive negative 7, positive negative 7 over 2, positive negative 7 over 3, positive negative 7 over 6, positive negative 21, and positive negative 21 over 2. Next, check the possible roots if a is a root of the polynomial px. The remainder from the division of px by x minus a should equal to 0. So these are the actual rational roots. We have 4. 1 times 6 is negative 6, plus 23 is 17, 1 times 17 is negative 17, plus 15 is negative 2, negative 2 times negative 1 is 2, plus negative 23 is 21. And negative 21 plus 21 is equals to 0. 1 times 6 is 6, plus 23 is 29. 29 times 1 is 29, plus 15 is 44. 44 times 1 is 44, plus negative 23 is 21. Negative 21 plus 21 is 0. Negative 3 over 2 times 6 is negative 9, plus 23 is 14. 14 times negative 3 over 2 is negative 21, plus 15 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 3 over 2 is equals to 9, plus negative 23 is negative 14. Negative 21 plus 21 is equals to 0. Negative 7 over 3 times 6 is negative 14, plus 23 is 9. 9 times negative 7 over 3 is negative 21, plus 15 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 7 over 3 is 14. 14 plus negative 23 is equals to negative 9. Negative 9 times negative 7.3 is equals to 21. Negative 21 plus 21 is equals to 0. So we have 4 actual roots, but there are 24 possible rational roots. And the 4 actual rational roots includes negative 1, 1, 3 over 2, and 7 over 3.
Well done. I will now make you the ultimate winner for batch 2020. Congratulations.
Okay. So the given, this is the scenario of the given. So if I'm going to give you a given, there are cases that with the list of the given, there's a 7th degree or 8th degree polynomial function. So maybe if you get that, so you will having a hard time of getting the roots or the zeros of the rational of the given polynomial. But this is just a suggestion. You will have your own given by having three parentheses. And say, for example, group 1, your polynomial function is in cubic and all your roots are whole numbers. And then the group 2, still cubic, but there is one fraction uh, given or fraction real roots. And then the third one is uh, quartic, but all roots are whole number. And then the group 4, all quartic, but there is one fraction as the roots. And then in the fifth one is the cubic, no, all real whole numbers. So let's just have the example. I-share lang natin kung paano kumuha ng magkaroon kayo ng example. So let's see.
Sir, ano po itong... So, ito po yung naka-assign po sa bawat group sa
No,
video?
no,
Or,
it's individual.
yeah, so ibig sabihin, yun lang yung sa bawat group, mag-a-agree lang sila ng sa isang type ng katulad ng sinasabi niyo, for example, cubic na may whole numbers po, then quartic na may tapos pero magkakaiba lang ng way na pag-present kasi individual.
You have different givens, but the degree is the same, cubic, for group 1.
Yes.
So
Yes
let's
po.
have this. So let's have the example first. Say, for example, group 1. So I will just give a factored form. But in your presentation, you don't need to show the factored form because you must first apply fundamental. This just method is to have your given. Say, for example, f of x. If you want to have your given, say, for example, since whole number, so that is x plus 1 and then x plus 2, and then the other one is x minus 1. Just multiply the 3, you already have your given. That's what I mean. So just multiply x plus 1 times x plus 2 times x minus 1. Whatever the product, arrange it. So standard form of polynomial function, that could be your given. And then you're going to integrate fundamental, Descartes' rule of sign, and then the rational root theorem. That is for the group 1. And then for the group 2, so if you want, so papalitan lang natin ng isa, magiging 2x plus 1. Meron na tayo isang fraction. So, same x plus 2, x minus 1. Pero iba-iba ha. Kung imbawa, isa naman negative ang 2, positive ang 2, tas positive 1. So, at least you, sa group 1, puro whole number. Pero sa group 2, meron kayong isang fraction. Then sa group 3 naman, quartic. Quartic siya. Puro whole number. And then sa group 4, quartic siya, tapos merong isang fraction. And then sa group 5, quintic siya, so pure whole number. So ang gawin nyo lang, gawa lang kayo nitong parenthesis, then multiply nyo. Then that could be your given. Pero hindi nyo na ito ipapakita sa presentation nyo kung paano nyo nakuha yung given. So ang gagawin nyo lang, my given polynomial function is, and then I'm going to integrate, or let's see the relationship of fundamental theorem of algebra, Descartes' rule of sign, and rational root theorem with this polynomial function. Okay, then discuss it. Yes, Benedict.
Sir, may question lang po ako. Regarding po sa whole numbers, do you mean po na hindi po pwedeng kasama yung negative since whole numbers is from integers from 0 pataas?
Okay, so it's just an example. I'm just referring to the term whole number for the general term of layman's term of everybody.
Yeah, so what's supposed to mean is yung mga target roots ng most of the polynomial functions na ibibigay namin is integer. Tama po ba?
Yeah.
Negative 3, 0, 1, 2, 3.
So you
5,
can
6,
choose
7,
between 0 to 9. If you want to challenge yourself, you can use x plus 8, x plus 7, x plus 9.
Oh.
But if you want a simpler one, you can use 1, 2, and then 3, up to 3 only. So negative, you can have negative 1 and then negative 3. So it's up to your combination. Since for all groups, so you just have 7 members. If the leader is gracious enough, she or he will be the one to formulate the given and then distribute it to the members. If the leader wants to do that. But if the leader, so giving leeway to the students, just give your given to your leaders, maybe next week, and then gathered it and then submit it to me. So there's no duplication. So yung maunang magsasubmit sa leader, yun ang valid. So halimbawa, nag-submit yung isang member, pareho ng given, hindi na yon, ibahin mo na. But if you want to challenge, if you want to, halimbawa, naubos na lahat ng numbers sa integers natin sa group 3, group 1 na cubic. Eh, kung wala tayong choice, kung gusto mo magkaroon ng fraction, it's your choice. Walang problema. Pero most probably, integers ang gagamitin natin dito sa group 1. Cubic siya. And then sa group 2, meron lang isang fraction na magiging roots. So dito pa lang kasi, sa gagawin yung given polynomial function, may idea na kayo kung ano magiging real roots nyo, di ba? Yung zeros of the function nyo, may idea na kayo. Kasi ayan na, equate nyo lang sa zero yan, ayun na yung pinaka-zeros of the function nyo. At least, pagdating nyo sa rational root theorem, alam nyo na yung magagamitin yung mga synthetic divisor, di ba? Di na kayo problema. Kasi may mga possible na real roots, the P over Q. So at least if you already have this, you know all the roots. So you just use negative 1, negative 2, and positive 1. If you want to use synthetic division. But still you can still use remainder theorem. But if the given is factorable, and then you can use the press equation, you can use, if that is quadratic, you can use different methods in quadratic, such as factoring, completing the square, and quadratic formula. So nobody is really stopping you to use different technique, different way of easiest thing to get the real roots or the zeros. But I hope that you will just consider that if no, if somebody, or if all the general public is really seeing your video, how can they understand it? So do not just teach because of what you have in your mind. What are you going to transfer with your viewer? So that is the thing. So if I'm going to watch your video, can I learn something or just criticize all the things that I've heard? So if you present, it doesn't necessarily mean whether you are technically or it doesn't matter. So all you have to do is to present it. It seems that you have to convince the viewer to understand, and then they put some entertainment on it so that the viewer will not snap or just sleep while watching your video. So just like the two videos, if I'm going to assess them, so I have my point of view. What is my reaction while watching the first one? What must be my reaction while watching the second one? So it's very easy for us Filipinos to criticize things, di ba? Because we always see the wrong one. So whenever we watch something to Facebook, to YouTube, to so many things, platform, we're not seeing the good one. We're always looking, ano ba yung mali dito? So, ganun ang Pilipino. But for this, all you have to do is what must be the things that you need to transfer to your viewer. Entertainment value, it's okay, but make it sure that entertaining siya at the same time informative and comprehensive, and it's very easy to understand. Ha? So, just if you want to influence somebody, you will do all things to for that person to understand what you want to rely on him on her. So that could be the point. So hindi siya pagalingan ng ano mo ng slang or ng the way you deliver your pronunciation or things. So the content of your video is more important, and how must be the viewer will react if they're going to watch your video. Okay. So a while ago, if you're going to have maybe because the voice is very monotonous, right? The second one, the boy is very monotonous. So the second one is just a blog type. So and then there are still, because last year, so I have 178 students. So I think mga 150 ang nagpasa. Yung iba talaga hindi kinaya at talagang hindi yata. Pero sa SSC ay required talaga sila doon. And then most of the students from the other section, they just use whiteboard, and they just use if they have relatives in school, they just use blackboard, and then there's a video. It's okay if you have your whiteboard, if you have your television, it's okay, just like you're the one teaching. So just give your best so that we can see what could be the result of your effort. So do not be stressed by it. So just have the concept, and then if you have the concept already, execute it. So you must have your flow of information. Do not just post fundamental theorem of algebra. Do not just post Descartes' rule of sign on the rational root theorem. So sometimes the viewer, okay, how did you arrive with this? Why do I need to have this? What could be the benefit of using and applying the fundamental theorem of algebra during mathematics time, or during polynomial function, or anything? So it seems that kung anong nararamdaman nyo, ano bang purpose nitong fundamental theorem of algebra na ito? Saan ko ba ito gagamitin? Itong Descartes rule of sign. Okay. So, may mga kinalaman yan sa graph, may mga kinalaman din, tapos na naman tayo sa graph. So, at least, marirelate nyo siya. And then, yung possible shortcut method na pwede nyo ma-share, share it. Na doon pa lang sa given, kahit hindi ka nagsosolve, di ba? So, doon pa lang sa given, isa pa lang given, pwede mo nang isolve lahat, di ba? i-integrate natin yung fundamental, Descartes, and rational root theorem. Doon pa lang sa given, di ba? Sa given bilugan mo lang yung yung pinaka leading term, di ba? Do not be confused with the leading term. Leading coefficient is one of the component of the leading term, ha? Leading term, the whole term, and the numerical is what we call leading coefficient, right? So leading coefficient. So be careful with those terms, okay? So any question is leaders, you must gather all the given. If you are gracious enough, you can do all the given with your members. Rodil?
So, ang ano po yung final po na dapat maipakita at the end of the video? What should we arrive with? Yung roots po ba?
Yeah. The zeros of the function.
Zero. So, hindi na po kasama yung understanding po sa graph ng function.
No need. But if you want to integrate what's the purpose of the sign, you can. But the main point is for you, in order for us to have the solution or the zeros of the polynomial function.
Okay.
So it means that on the rational root theorem, we arrive with the final answer. But before the final answer, we have preliminaries. And preliminaries are the fundamental theorems and Descartes. Fundamental, so what could be the possible number of my zeros? Ganun lang yon. And then, how many positives and how many negative? Is there any possible imaginary? So that is the essence of it. And then, you will find out in the rational root theorem at the end. Kung tama ba yung fundamental theorem, 4 nga. And then merong isang positive, isang negative, 2 imaginary, total is 4. So tama nga. So ibig sabihin, therefore, by the use of fundamental theorem of algebra, Descartes' rule of sign, so we can really assess so how many zeros we have, how many positive and negative zeros we have, and then by the use of rational root theorem, so now we can have the final answer, the final zeros of the given polynomial function. Therefore, the fundamental theorem and the Descartes rule has its role in order for us to assess the given polynomial function. Ganun lang yun, ha? So, if you don't have if you're not used to it, just ask assistance from your classmates. So, at ito naman parang gumawa ka muna ng PowerPoint. Kung gusto mo lang PowerPoint, tapos gawin mo lang video, tapos mag-voice over ka na lang. Gaya ng ginawa ni Garces. Yung iba naman talagang may whiteboard at nandoon yung camera sa harapan, nagsusolve. Gumagamit ng whiteboard marker, tapos dinidiscuss nila. So marami nun sa YouTube ganong style. Yung nagdi-discuss lang sa whiteboard at saka sa blackboard. Yung kay Garces naman, ginamitan ng technology. How to have the variation of the sign, so on and so forth. So, integrate nyo lang lahat ng natutunan nyo sa ICT, and then yung style na kapag kayo rin mismo makikinig sa mga tutorial ng math, ano yung gusto nyong makita. At least sa isip nyo pa lang, nagkakaroon na kayo ng concept. Conceptualize nyo muna. And then, I will just gather all your given next week, ha? Bago mag-Thursday, dapat nasa akin na yung mga given. Okay? So, yung mga leaders, be aware of it, ha? Sa inyong pag-gather ng ating mga given. Okay? Any question? Cervantes, may nag-reach out na ba sa'yo na magtitest ng quiz?
Wala pa po, sir.
It's okay. So, it means ipa-finalize ko na to, ha? Pwede ko na ibigay kay sir? Kasi wala nang
tatanungin ko na lang po ulit sila.
Sige. I just will just wait until 12 kung merong kung merong magko-confirm sa iyo, ha. So alam mo naman kung sino-sino yung mga walang quiz. Natandaan mo ba? Yung mga walang quiz?
Opo.
Okay. Any clarification, Benedict?
So I would like to clarify lang po. So yung mga inaasahan po makita po sa video, una po yung given. Then pangalawa yung pag-apply po ng fundamental theorem of algebra.
Yes.
Then after that,
Descartes' rule of sign.
Okay, Descartes' rule of signs. Then
last is rational
root theorem. Then yung implication na paghahanap sa roots.
Yes, that's it. Yun lang, yun yung pinaka-summary lang. Sa dulo. So, mag-ano ka na lang, kumbaga parang summary sa dulo. paano mo na-arrive yung mga sagot na yon. Okay? So, I hope yung mga pwede mo kayo magtanungan sa leaders nyo. So, ang dami kasi nitong videos na to iba-iba. So, 150 yata to. So, ang daming videos. Kaya lang karamihan doon is puro mga natutulog sa higaan, biglang nanaginip, tapos meron silang panaginip, tapos may video na napanood, nagsosolve ng polynomial function, walang kahirap-hirap, no? May nagsosolve, no? It was just a dream. I thought that I'm the one explaining it. Hindi pala. Yung mga ganun bang style. So, wag naman. Yung gawa naman kayo ng sarili nyong kasi natulog, tapos nanaginip, pinasok yung explanation ng isang teacher na nag-explain ng polynomial function. So, nagkataon lang yung given na ginamit niya is same dun sa given nung teacher na nag-explain. So, diskarte lang no. Kaya wala akong choice nun kasi tanggapin kesa sa wala, no? Benedict.
So, kumbaga tatlo lang po yung main points na ipapakita po sa video. Tatlong main points.
Yes. Yung tatlo lang. The
Alright.
fundamental, the cards, and the rational root. Okay?
Right.
So, I hope na malinaw yun sa lahat. So, hanggang December 29 siya sa Google Classroom isi-share. So, 5 minutes, minimum of 5 minutes onwards. 5 minutes, okay? So, ang isipin nyo lang palagi is yung content tsaka yung substance ng ibibigay nyo sa viewer nyo. May makukuha ba tong viewer? Pag pinanood ako, baka pag halimbawa, isipin nyo kung kayo manonood, anong gusto nyo panoorin, di ba? Yung isa, housemate, yung isa naman, vlogger. So, iba-iba, di ba? Gusto mo yung kasi meron nag-integrate ng ML last year eh. Yung mga sound ng ML, labasan para kang ang ingay eh. So pag may nakakuhang sagot yun, ano ba yun, yung mga sagot yung mga lumalabas na expression, yung mga ano ba yan, basta hindi ko alam yung mga, sabi ko saan ba galing yung mga sound na yan, yung pala galing doon. Okay? Baka naman ngayon may gumamit ng Squid Game, no? As nila, kumbaga parang nag-explain sila as sa Squid Game naman, no? So depende yun sa approach nyo. Marami naman kayo may isip eh. Okay, clarification sa grade, okay na yun na yung mga kumpleto na ng quiz at kumpleto na ng chapter test. I hope na okay na yung grade na yun na yung mga babae naman parang halos lahat karamihan line of 9 no? Pero ang highest natin is 98, 97. Ano bang highest natin? So, yun yung mga possible pa. So, gawin nyo lang lahat naman. Kasi kung alam nyo, kung nag-base lang ako sa computation, walang extension, ang bababa niyo. Walang extension. Kasi ang nangyari, marami kasi talagang di nagsagot, no? In-extend ko yung 1 week to week 1 to 6, di ba? And then another extension na naman week 1 to 8. Napaka-guys na yon kasi parang ngayon lang yata nangyari yun. Dati, in-extend ko lang, isang weekly task lang. Kung ano lang yung pagkaisahan doon ng mga estudyante. Since medyo maraming adjustment talaga until now, so nagbigay ng grace period. Pero sa second quarter, medyo na yun na yung totoong labanan natin ha. So, huwag kayong mapipressure, ganun talaga na every week, pag nagkatapos ng discussion, quiz agad tayo ha. Kaya, yung mga i-discuss ni Sir, so, kung gusto nyo, mag-advance na kayo kasi may libro kayo, di ba? Meron kayong subcopy ng book, di ba? So mag-advance na kayo para pagdating ng quiz natin, yung mga exercises natin, na 10-item test, so at least madali nyo nang masagot. Para yung recitation nyo, talagang malalaman yung performance nyo doon, talaga na kayo nagsagot. Kasi 30 minutes lang siya. 30 minutes. So after we're through with the Google Meet, so I will give you 30 minutes to answer. So, yung mga 30 minutes lang, okay. And then, i-close ko na yung Google Form after 30 minutes. Kaya pag hindi ko umate ng synchronous class, wala ka na talagang pag-asa na magkaroon ng grade. Supposed to be ganun dapat eh. Kasi merong mga hindi umate ng synchronous class. Okay? So much further ado. So, thank you very much and God bless to all of you. Goodbye, class.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay,
Goodbye po.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye po.
Thank you po,
Yes,
sir.
God bless. God bless.